Don't get too comfortable and don't stay satisfied. Find out what I mean in today's coffee time chat where we get real and talk about things that we all know but don't really say. Now this whole video was actually inspired by a conversation I was having last night with a very good friend of mine. We both love languages, we both like teaching, and we have that characteristic, that quality, but we're never satisfied where we are. We always want to be moving, want to be achieving and learning and developing and doing new things. And while we were saying how that's an amazing quality to have, it's funny because we were actually saying how it can also be a curse sometimes. Why? Because we're never satisfied. It's making me laugh a lot only because we were talking about how, yes, it's such a good quality to have. Why? Because if you're too comfortable where you are, you never really develop, you never really learn new things. If you are staying in the same place, and as I said at the beginning of the video, if you're not learning new skills, you're not pushing yourself, you're not really pushing yourself to reach the sort of best version of yourself because you're too comfortable. But the reason I thought it was super funny was she was saying how sometimes she wishes you could say she was just a nurse. Why? Because if somebody asks you what to do, I'm a nurse. I go to work at night, I go to work in the morning, I come home, I make dinner, I watch Netflix, and I go to bed. That's as simple as it is. Instead of, well, you know, I like to do this, I like to do that, I have a lot of creative projects, I was also traveling here, and it's an amazing thing, but it can be exhausting. So what we were saying was, it's such a good thing to have where you're not satisfied in the status quo because you want to keep pushing yourself. But at the same time, we did recognize it can be a bit of a curse because you never have that sense of stability almost in terms of a set thing that you do that you know you like to do and you're happy with. And that's the thing, I'm actually really curious to know what your thoughts are. I really do hope you do leave comments in the comment section. Now, are you the kind of person as well who's never satisfied? You're always so goal-oriented. You always want to push yourself and develop yourself, that you're always thinking of the next thing that you want to do. And while everybody else is happy with the way things are and the job they have or the thing they do or the place they live in, you're constantly thinking about, what am I going to do next? As I said, it's a blessing or a curse. I know for me, like, people have midlife crises. I have a midlife crisis every 2 weeks. But what I mean by that is I'm just so goal-oriented and I always want to keep pushing myself, and I never want to be in the same place tomorrow or next week or 2 months from now that I am today. And that's why I keep pushing myself to want to do more, to try new things, to learn more things, because I'm never satisfied and content with how things are, but not in the bad way, but in the good sense of I always want to kind of make things better and do more and achieve more. And I'm sure many of you who are watching right now, if you have that same quality, that same spark inside you as well, you know exactly what I'm talking about and what we were talking about last night. You should actually join us next time. But what I mean is, you know exactly what I'm talking about. On one hand, you have this dissatisfaction that pushes you to want and do more. But at the other end, you don't want to rock the boat too much, because then people sometimes do kind of think like, well, you know, you should really settle down, you should really do one thing. And I just want the scope of this video just to be about that quality. Don't be satisfied in what it is that you do. Don't ever get too comfortable. If there's something you want to try, like my last video, make mistakes. Process of elimination, you'll get to where you want to be. Another thing I want to add about this constant sort of a dissatisfaction or not being comfortable, the good thing is, of course, well, there's many good things, but one of the other good things is it really does sort of make you broaden your horizons and it broadens your worldview. For example, if I talk of myself, I've always wanted to move around in different cities, spend time doing different things. I want to learn different skills. And I've had the great opportunity of living in different cities when I lived in the UK, living in different cities here in Canada as well. And I just relish my experiences doing that. And I love how I can be in a place for a year and think, I'm kind of overgrowing this. I want to move away and do something else. It's really kind of made me the person I am today. And also in terms of what I want to do, so many skills I've picked up and so many things I have learned along the way, I would never have learned if I just stayed doing one job in the town that I was from. Yes, I've been super lucky as well to have the support to be able to go ahead and do that, and my own sort of continued self-driven motivation and ambition. But what I'm trying to say is this whole like quality of never being satisfied where you are, it can be seen as a bad thing, it can be seen as exhausting, but to be honest, it's also a super good thing. And again, many of you who are watching, you probably do relate and you probably have been there too, and you know exactly what I'm saying and talking about. So never lose that spark, never lose that creative determination inside you, never lose that inspiration, that motivation inside you. Try new things, taste new things, things, go out there and literally have an adventure. I always feel now that life is too short. Whatever it is that you want to do, go ahead and do it. Don't ever be too scared to be on the sidelines, but really go out there and do what it is you want to do. Now, I know this video has been a little all over the place maybe, but the reason is I was so inspired by the conversation I had with my friend last night that I really wanted to make this video purely about this whole never being satisfied and just constantly pushing yourself, but of course in the good way. And the joke about the whole I just want to say I'm a nurse, it just really was funny, and it kind of touched me, and I really wanted to share that with you. And as I said, I really am curious to know what you think in the comments, especially if you can relate. How do you feel about it? Has this really pushed you to do new things, try new things, and have amazing experiences that you would not have had if you were too satisfied and comfortable where you were or where you are? So thanks again for joining me for today's video, and if you haven't already, please do consider subscribing for future videos. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.